Hey everybody, welcome back to Cutthroat Research. I am Tyler, and with me as always is Ryan.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
So we are back. How have you been, Ryan?
I've been alright. Tired, dealing with holiday season.
Yes, the
There's-
holiday burnout is real.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in life, but we're here to do another episode, and we're going to try to keep pumping out content, hopefully on at minimum a bi-weekly basis. We're trying to do it more than that, but I'm about to start school next week too, so I guess that kind of segues into full disclosure. From this point forward, expect bi-weekly episode releases, and if it happens to be more frequent than that, then you got a little bit of benefit out of it. But I think we're going to be switching to a more bi-weekly concrete release time.
And we did talk about that last time. The reason it took 3 weeks from that is my computer died.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Tyler had a MacBook, or not a MacBook, but a Mac desktop that I think, if I had to guess, the hard drive finally fried, but it just stopped turning on pretty much. And
yeah. I mean, it's about a decade old.
Yeah, so it's well past the point of no return, and we did get him a replacement. He found himself a laptop from a friend of ours. So with the holiday season, everyone's getting new tech and thus cycling out their old tech. So we got a decent deal on another MacBook laptop this time. So how are you feeling about the laptop? I know you only set it up this week. You think you're gonna be you think there's more utility for it? You're gonna start bringing it to the locals and stuff and trying to set up more content?
I'm a fan of having a it's actually more powerful than my desktop was.
Yeah.
And it's portable.
So you have an idea of what the age of the tower was compared to the laptop's, what, 2015 or 14, something like that?
Yeah, it's late 2015.
Yeah. So versus the decade-old tower.
I think it was late 2009 was my iMac.
So almost right on a decade old.
Yeah.
But enough of that. I'm a tech nerd, but we're here for Keyforge. We're going to do some Keyforge content today. How's your leaderboards been doing? I know we got leaderboards. This is the last week today. As of recording today, being Saturday the 27th or 8th or whatever, this is our last week of leaderboards for December. And I know you and me are, what, 3rd and 4th right now?
Currently, yes.
For top 4. And we do have our Archon and our sealed tournament today.
Yeah, so unfortunately you guys didn't get to follow the saga due to the technical complications. Yeah. But week 1, Ryan went... Did you go undefeated in both tournaments?
I lost one game all day.
Yeah, so he had a very strong start to week 1.
Yep.
I won one game all day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you came back hard.
Yeah, so week 1, I think I was in 10th.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. You were
out of like 12.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you were tied for last, or maybe one person was behind you or something. But for week 1, that is not where you want to be.
Yeah, and then week 2, I think I went 3-1 in both tournaments, or 3-1 in Archon, 3-0 in Sealed.
Yeah, I think Sealed was smaller that week.
And then week 3, I went 3-1 in Archon and 3-1 in Sealed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you said you lost to Danny on Saturday, right?
So I have bounced back. I'm currently 3rd at the Cool Comics and Games leaderboards.
Mm-hmm. And I will point out, too, just because I'm kind of proud of it myself, I'm in 4th right now. The guy in 5th is still 2 points behind me, but I only played Archon last week. I didn't even play in the Sealed tournament because I went to a party, and I'm still in 3rd. So if I had played in Sealed, I'd probably be in 2nd or 1st. But I just want a deck. I don't care about the placement more than I care about the anywhere in 4 is fine.
Yeah, you were in 1st up until last week.
Yeah, and not going to Sealed bumped me out of that. But as long as I still get top 4, it's not going to feel like.
Yeah, the goal is a deck.
Yeah, that's really all it is. You're not getting anything special extra. There's no. You don't get to, there's no way to guarantee that first place is going to get a better deck than the 4th place person anyway. So it's all the same, and as long as I don't do awful today, it should work out where I get a deck, which will be pretty cool. I've been playing. I think you have too. Have you been playing the same deck, all leaderboards for Archon?
Same deck. Yep. Every Archon tournament.
Me too. I've been playing the Velocibat deck, the highest rated deck I have that I brought to the Prime and got top 4 with. I've been playing that for this whole leaderboard month. I'm at 5 chains right now. which feels like it's lower than it should be, but I'm just gonna let the system do its thing because I had a situation like that before. Right. Yeah, well, I had that situation with War Master Granbury one week where I went 3-1. I went 3-1 with no buys and didn't gain any chains whatsoever, and like I 100% remember that, and that was really strange. And now this week I went 3-1 last week with a buy, so which I mean I still went 2-1 according to the chain tracker. But I still have the same 5 chains that I had last week, so I'm not sure exactly why that's the case, but I'm not going to question it, because like, once I hit 7 chains, it's really hard for me to want to play that deck today.
Yeah, it's weird, because I have 7 chains
on the deck that you've
on
only
the
been
deck
playing.
that I've been playing the same amount of time as you.
And I have better tournament results as a whole because of your first week.
Yeah.
And I'm at less chains than you, which is really weird. Like, I feel like something is going wrong in the system, but I can't say that for sure.
I mean, if mine are correct, then there's no reason yours shouldn't be.
Yeah, because of the attendance for the tournament, so everything's updating fine. Maybe I did get a buy that I don't remember, but I just don't remember. Yeah, it might have to do with buys,
because for people who don't know, in Chainbound, if you get a buy, it does count as a win towards leaderboards and your record, but they drop that to determine your record for applying chains.
Right.
So like if you go 2-1. But one of those wins was a bye, it counts as 1-1, so it doesn't apply any chains.
Right, so in a 4-round tournament, for example, if you go 2-2, you don't expect to get any chains, but if one of your wins was a bye, now you're losing chains, because on the chain counter, you went 1 and 2, because the bye doesn't apply to that. It applies to everything else in the tournament, but not the chains itself. So,
correct.
So, yeah, it could be a weird circumstance of me getting buys that I don't remember or didn't account for. But I'm still at 5 chains, and I think I'm probably just going to keep playing that today. I mean, I did all right with it last week, and I just want to... Like you said, it'd be really cool. We were talking about before the podcast. It's really cool to try and play one deck for the whole leaderboard, just because being able to still get a deck while you're putting chains on it and still top 4ing the leaderboard month, like, that whole cacophony of, like, examples, it makes you feel good, like, knowing that you didn't have to play something with no chains every week over and over, and just to get your leaderboard deck. So, if I can get a deck today... I feel like it's going to be super successful. At least I'm calling this the first leaderboard because we had a prime last month and most of us didn't get into that, right? I don't think anyone who went to prime.
Yeah, I ended up 5th by like 4 points.
Gotcha. Yeah, so like last month during the weekends we were at prime, I'm sure you guys already know from previous episodes, but we were at prime championships that weekend, and that was the same weekend that everybody who went to our local store got like 5 times shards, so all they had to do was show up and play for the day, and they pretty much kicked us out of it, any chance of getting a deck for November, which is unfortunate. But I mean, for me, the Grim Reaper playmat's worth it. I know Tyler didn't.
I'm getting mine.
Get a mat, but there's 2 primes coming up in the next 2 weeks, so Tyler's gonna get 2 mats, right? You're gonna get the Nizak mat too.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, nice. So we're both gonna have a Nizak mat in 2 weeks. Probably have a couple extra Grim Reaper mats to do stuff with. I'm being way too confident for us, aren't we? Anyway, next week, the Prime Championship, though. It's another little segue. I know we're kind of going all over the place. This is the first time recording again in like 3 weeks, almost a month, so sorry if we're a little scatterbrained and jumping around. We don't have anything for a script. Normally we write down a couple bullet points of what we want to discuss. This week I just kind of showed up at his house and we got food, and now we're just recording on the fly. So sorry if this episode's a little weird from our normal...
well, one thing we can talk about...
Yep.
Which I just remembered and pulled up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Last episode, we were recording during the finals of the first Archon Vault Tour with Worlds Collide Legal.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
And the Worlds Collide deck did win that Vault Tour.
Correct. We have our first official Vault Tour where Set 1 didn't win the entire thing. And the deck itself... It looks pretty solid. Like, I skimmed through it once. I'd have to look at it again. I mean, I know you're pulling it up now. We'd have to look at it again to get a full, consistent review. But at first glance, man, the Call of the Archons deck looks like it has the upper hand just because of what we know about how that set works and what the power cards are. It has, like, everything on the list. Like, what is it missing? Too much to protect?
Yeah, it's
realistically,
it's really strong. And I mean, I think that's good, though, because it shows that the meta does play against the new decks differently. Like, if this was just a Call of the Archons and Age of Ascension tournament, I feel like this deck would have won.
Yes.
And the deck that was runner-up was Despot Solomon, the Pompous Antagonizer. If we remember, we'll throw links in... Well, for you on YouTube, we'll throw links in the description if we remember.
Yeah, definitely.
If not, try to sound it out. But it was a Logos Shadows Untamed deck.
It's 80 SAS, and it's got Time Traveler and Library Access.
Yeah, the Logos, there's really not a dead card in here.
Yeah, I don't see a single card in that entire list.
Way of the Bear is the only thing that feels bad.
Yeah, and that doesn't feel that bad. It's just a little bad. It's like underwhelmingly bad. Not like this is a bad card. It's just like I wish this could have been something else. That's a card. Uh-huh. Yep.
Just like Umbras are like one of those cards where I consider those like that's a card.
Right. It's no Key of Darkness bad or anything like that or whatever the other jokes are. I know there's a few cards out where just like, why was this printed?
But this is it is Double Mother, Time Traveler, Wild Wormhole, Library Access are the big hits in Logos and Shadows. It's
everything. 2 Ghostly Hand, 3 Nerve Blast, Poison Wave, Safe Place, Snake Lifter, and 3 Umbra,
with a bait and switch.
True, I skipped that card and literally listed everything else off. That entire list, like Shadows is your control, and then Untamed is your rush, and Logos is just like your combo, like that. That looks like house by house play of the whole deck.
And the Untamed is Full Moon, Triple Hunting Witch, Key Charge.
Yeah, and the rest is just more creatures and a Vigor and Nature's Call.
So. That's a
solid.
Extremely powerful deck.
Yeah.
I think they only played it in... It looks like they only played it in the
Vault Tour.
The Vault Tour, because it is 8-1.
Yep, 8-1 record, no chains, 7 power. So yeah, this deck literally hadn't been used at any local events prior or any other...
It played the 9 rounds of the Vault Tour. So the 6 rounds of Swiss and then the
top cut.
The 3 rounds of the top cut.
Very cool.
So that's awesome.
I wonder how many other decks out there are in that 80 SAS, 80 to 85 SAS that people have and they just refuse to play until they go to a big event, and we're not going to get, like... They're probably on decks of Keyforge, but, like, people are keeping them tucked away for things like this.
The thing about this, too, is it doesn't have the... Decks of Keyforge has a Crucible tracker, like, extension, too.
Yeah.
So, as far as I know, this hasn't even been played on the Crucible.
Oh, wow.
And if it was, it wasn't tracked on Crucible Tracker. So maybe they played on the Crucible, but not... Like, ever since I downloaded Crucible Tracker, this is a shameless plug, by the way, for whoever made Crucible Tracker. I think it was the same people who made decks of Keyforge, if not the same team.
Gotcha.
Team SAS. I think. If I'm wrong, please correct me, because I don't want to spread false information. But that's a great tool if you don't already use it, if you are playing on the Crucible. Because it saves, like, turn by turn.
Every single decision you make along
everything
the road.
you make. And you can see your win rate versus each set of deck. It's great.
It keeps track. There's all sorts of statistics. Your win rate versus certain houses and, like, how common certain cards are played against your deck and stuff like that, right? It just has, like, a whole compendium of statistics.
Yeah, it makes me want to play on the Crucible more, honestly.
Yeah, it's really good for if you know you're going to play this deck and there's no chance you're going to change before a big event. Grinding that deck on Crucible for like a couple days before the event will really give you some maybe even unrecognized insight into what the strengths and weaknesses of the deck are that you wouldn't be aware of without those statistics being tracked for you automatically. Like, anyone can go to your local store and you could play this one deck for 10 hours, but the Crucible statistics still might bring light to things that you wouldn't have recognized ever playing the deck over and over again. So yeah, I agree. The extension's pretty cool. I haven't played on Crucible Tracker very much. I've literally only played like 1 or 2 games on there.
I guess they don't...
It was alright. What is that?
I might be wrong. I'm just looking up one of my decks that I know I played a lot. So maybe that's not on theirs anymore, because I don't see the Crucible Tracker for this one.
Oh, gotcha. Well, as a new computer, did you reinstall the extension?
Yeah, I have the extension.
Huh.
Weird. Anyway.
We will clarify that at one point in the future. One episode down
Crucible Tracker's great. Either way. The other deck, the deck that did end up winning,
the Worlds Collide deck,
is called Light Tasker Market Sheriff. And it is also an 80 SAS. And the interesting thing about this is there's no Saurian, no Star Alliance.
Yep. And as we all know, I mean, especially from anyone who's listened to our shows, we've been hyping up Saurian and Star Alliance from the get-go. Like, even when we were first reading the leaks back in like August or July or whatever, like every time we read a new Saurian or Star Alliance card, we're like, man, this is gonna change the game. Man, this is gonna change the game.
I don't think we were wrong.
Yeah, like it did do all those things, but now it's like, oh, it changed the game, but that doesn't mean that they're required to win. And it feels like some of the Facebook groups and some of the Keyforge community that I've been a part of, it seems like a lot of people are kind of beelining for like, oh, I need a competitive deck. It has to have Saurian or Star Alliance in it. And like, this is a perfect example of that's not the case. You just need to understand how to play the deck. And granted, my best deck's got Saurian and Star Alliance, and I love it. But if it didn't, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to play it, and I wouldn't devalue a set 3 deck just because it didn't have those houses. So.
Here's the thing, too. And I want to exemplify, SAS rating is not, like, the end-all, be-all.
Well, you guys already know yourselves. The SAS rating can change on a day. Like, we could wake up tomorrow when your 80 could be a 77. Like, they're always trying to tweak it, so, like, you can only take it with a grain of salt. Like, it should be part of your factoring, but it shouldn't be the majority.
But the thing that I really like using decks of Keyforge for is all the smaller numbers.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the deck that won is right here. Do you see this? The bonus amber. So the amber printed on cards in the deck is 6.
Mm-hmm. So all of the amber that deck's trying to get is either reaping or by taking it from your opponent.
Would you bring a deck with only 6 bonus amber to a Vault Tour?
I'd be hard pressed to.
I don't know if I would.
I won't.
I don't know if I have that kind of confidence in myself.
I won't say that I won't. Like, I can't just rule out and say that there's no way. But man, like, the cards in that list would have to be so exactly what my personality wants to play.
Well, would these cards change your mind? Double Infernus.
Yeah, I see double
Double
Infernus.
Library of the Damned. Double Snag. Hysteria.
Yeah, that all sounds
Double
pretty good.
Igor. Eddie. Tau Vapors. Cutthroat Research.
Yeah.
Now, Cutthroat Research is a bad card.
Yes.
But with set 3, it's kind of a good card.
Cutthroat Research as a card, value-wise, has greatly increased with set 3's release. Because there's so many circumstances where I look over, like, I see people losing games when they have 15 amber on their freaking Archon because of the way that set 3 has, like, invaded the meta. So, like you said, I agree. Cutthroat Research is definitely better than it used to be, and it definitely has an edge against, like, if it's in your deck and you're playing against a set 3 deck, you're much more likely to actually resolve it for the effect than just getting an amber.
Or if it's in your deck and you have an Eddie, 4x4.
Eddie as well, yeah.
So you make their keys cost
9.
7 or 9, and they have the 8 amber, and you just steal some of it.
Yep.
Speaking of steal, the Shadows in this deck has double Ronnie Wrist Clocks, double Javinda, a bad penny, trust no one, too much to protect, and I mean, this is a strong deck.
Yeah, that's all we gotta say about it. It's just broken. No.
I mean, there's
it's
2
really
rares
strong
in the entire deck.
Yep.
2. Which goes to show just how strong the commons and uncommons in set 3 are compared to the other deck. What kind of rares did it have? 2, 4, 6, 5 or 6, depending if you count the procedurally generated as a rare or not.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I would.
Yeah, it's still
it
a
comes
card
with
in the
a
deck.
rare.
Yeah, Time Traveler is 2 rares because it has to come with the other one.
But I mean, this is a control deck. This is the kind of deck where if you have 6 bonus amber, you say to yourself, "Well, I'm not going to win by getting amber faster than my opponent.
I just need to make them not able to do anything that they want to do, or if they do it, I'm just gonna make it benefit me more than them."
Yeah, and it's a great deck, and just the fact that I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, but I mean, I want to say probably of our 1.5 million open decks, about 1 million of those have been set 1.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Not much less.
Yeah.
So definitely. Just the fact that we found already this new into the set.
What about the other? What about the set 1 deck that got 2nd place? How much natural amber did it have? 14.
14
expected amber. That's
well, the expected amber is 30.
Or
the
amber
bonus amber is 14.
Yeah. There's so many numbers to keep.
Whereas the World's Collide deck, the expected amber is 14, and the raw amber is 6.
Right. So that's a significant difference. But I feel like for people who don't know what kind of decks they like or don't know what they want to play or struggle to pick a deck for a tournament, all those little numbers that Tyler's talking about on the right side, those will be really useful for you too, because like I know I'm the kind of person that I like combo decks, so looking at how many draw cards are in the deck or how many archiving cards are in the deck, those are the numbers that appeal to me more than raw amber and creature toughness and stuff like that. So
yeah, speed is a very important, I think, metric as well. And
I agree.
Both of these have speed over 15, which is phenomenal.
But I do know there's people who just like having the biggest, baddest boards, so they just want something with a high power count. They want to see 100 plus on their creature strength just so everything sticks. So it's kind of those numbers help you learn kind of what you like and what you want to play, and they'll help you find other decks that are gonna be actually interesting to you versus, this deck's a 79, I'm gonna play it because I can, and then you not actually enjoying it because it's not the play style you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and I'm glad that the meta's reached a point where people who do like to play big boards have a bastion in Saurian where they can play big boards and it isn't as underwhelming as it used to be.
Right. And if things, that's what it comes down to. Like you get board wiped, it's gonna happen, but the difference in actual benefit from keeping that board there for set 3 is like with what you're saying, Sinosaurus or Cincinnatus Rex.
Cincinnatus Rex.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about. Yeah.
That combo, by the way, it's been growing in popularity. I don't know if you're familiar. The Cincinnatus Rex Golden Spiral combo.
Yeah, it just rule of 6 is your whole board into fighting, right?
Not just that. Because Cincinnatus Rex also readies your artifacts, so it readies the Golden Spiral.
So you just get to
your rule of 6,
both of them,
everything, as long as they have cards to fight.
Wow. So you're like pseudo rule of 12ing kind of.
Because Cincinnatus Rex doesn't make everyone fight; it just readies everything.
Yeah, and then they can all be used or whatever. Well, Saurian can still only be used, right?
I believe. Let's check right now. Yeah. I believe Saurian is the only thing that can be used still, but
as long as you have a couple Saurian creatures that make it worth.
But yeah, it happened to me on the Crucible, and I was like, "This is strong."
Yeah.
You may exalt Cincinnatus Rex if you do ready each other friendly card.
Sure. So yeah, it doesn't let you change your house or use any other houses, but like you said, the Golden Spiral lets you use other cards. So double Golden Spiral basically lets you use the Cincinnatus Rex forever, or roll a 6.
You don't even need a double Golden Spiral.
But doesn't the Golden Spiral need to get the Rex back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you fight with Rex, exalt him to ready everything else,
and
then you tap Golden Spiral
to ready him.
And then when he fights, he readies the Golden Spiral too.
Oh, with everything else again? Yeah, I gotcha. Fair enough.
So you just rule of 6 as long as you could fight. And, I mean, it's pretty brutal.
Yep.
Especially if you have, like, good Omni abilities or
a Triumph in there or something.
Yeah, Triumph would be great in there.
Yeah. But so that's another big up-and-coming combo that I'm sure most of you guys are already aware of because people have been posting in the Facebook groups looking for it specifically. But that's Worlds Collide, and that's like I said, that's pretty much all there is to say about the finals from last week. Shout out to both those guys for doing so well at the tournament. I'm happy that a Worlds Collide deck won because I feel like there's players all over that are still kind of hesitant about, is Worlds Collide gonna, some people are saying it's too good and it's power creep, and other people are saying like it's no good and just keep playing set 1, and this kind of throws all of those theories like on its head because I mean obviously if it's winning it could be power creep, but we haven't seen it winning up until now, like even though it's the first Vault Tour, but like even at our locals and other big tournaments that we've seen around, like there's a lot of like bad mouthing about set 3. Not a lot, but there's definitely a share of it.
A certain amount of power creep is necessary for a game like Keyforge.
Yeah, I mean, anytime new mechanics come out, it's going to feel like power creep, because now cards from this set have effects that those other sets didn't have, period. Like, that's just, that in a nutshell, that's a definition of power creep, like giving new cards access to something that old cards didn't have. But well, that's the nature of card gaming, kind of.
Not only that, but just in a game where your whole deck is purchased, not just pieces of your deck.
Yeah, it's not a
building. If the standard deck on average isn't a little bit better, then why would you buy more decks?
Yeah. What's the incentive to buy set 3 if set 1's still better?
And I mean, they kind of introduced that, like, I don't know what to call it, like pseudo rotation with the Vault Warrior series.
Yep.
But like, is that enough?
Yeah, like is one format really gonna be enough of a push to convince people?
No, you got to make the cards on average a little bit stronger, so that people want to buy new cards.
Yep.
Which I think it's necessary. It makes sense. I'm not upset about it. I know that some people might be, but like really, as long as the top, I don't know, 5 or 10% of each set remains competitively viable, I feel like that's healthy.
Yeah, actually, exactly. Like it doesn't feel fair, it doesn't feel right, but it is healthy. And like people who haven't played card games might gripe about it more, but like every card game has had power creep. Like whether or not you believe it or whether or not you're aware of it, like every single card game's had power creep, and like Tyler said, there's no reason to buy new decks if the old decks work. And in a game where you're not buying one card at a time and upgrading your deck slowly, you're literally just getting a whole deck out the gate. It's kind of even more so expected from this game versus others because you have to buy the whole deck. So.
And Keyforge does it in a really smart and healthy way.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually talking to one of my buddies who I used to play Magic with, and he is just now starting to get into Keyforge because he has friends from up north who have told him, like, hey, this is going to be big. You need to look into this. He has, like, an online storefront. Mm-hmm. This is Cosmo, who we're going to meet with today and try to teach a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he was asking about them. He's like, so, just out of curiosity, he's like, say I get the deck I really like, what do I do with all the, like, mediocre decks? And I had told him, I was like, well, that's kind of the one issue when you're buying a lot of decks, like, but there are people online who buy bulk decks for, like, $2 on average a deck, I would say. I mean, that's what I sold mine for when I sold a bunch of bulk decks. And he was actually, just to give you an idea, because people who aren't familiar with card games, he said, like, that's actually a good price for bulk.
Yeah.
Because you're getting 20% back on your price.
Right. How many times have you gotten a Magic common and actually sold it for more than like half a penny?
No, it's a free box at the local store.
Yep.
You just drop it in there.
Yeah, you just add it to the pile of other cards, and anyone who's interested in the game can come
and
in.
Bulk, I mean, bulk and Magic, it fluctuates, but I'm pretty sure right now it's like $2 per 5K.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
for
ridiculous.
Bulk commons, uncommons.
Even in Yu-Gi-Oh for commons, as far as I remember, it's still like $10 for 1,000 commons in Yu-Gi-Oh. And like that's still not as good as what Keyforge is paying, because Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, you buy $4 for a pack, you're gonna get 9 commons, so you need to get 100 packs. More than that, you're gonna have to get like 110 packs, which is 3 boxes. So you're gonna spend $300 to get enough commons to make $10 back.
So buy rates on bulk commons, uncommons, and MTG are about $2 to 1,000 for commons, uncommons, and for bulk rares and foils, it's 10 cents each.
So 10 for $1, 100 for $10, 1,000 for $100.
But that's for the rares and foils.
Yeah, rares and foils. So 1,000 is $100 for rares and foils.
And then
$2 a deck. Like, yeah, that sounds like perfectly fine. Like, there's no qualm about
so
that
I mean, $2 for a $10 deck, where realistically most people who are buying a high volume of decks, they're not getting them for $10. They're getting them closer to like $6 to $8.
They're getting them on
a deck.
They're getting them on Amazon, or they're
I mean, keep an eye out for Amazon, guys, because
if you got $40 to spend and want 12 decks, Amazon's where it's at.
Set one has been dropping regularly under $50 a display.
And Worlds Collide was under $80 a box for like a day.
I almost did that, but I think I'm gonna wait.
I was close, but I told myself 50. Like whenever a new set comes out, it's got to hit 50 before I'll start buying from our non-LGS.
I would rather give the extra $20 to our local game store.
Yep, 100% agree.
Age of Ascension, I don't know. I'm not buying anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy individual decks, I think. I think I'm going to buy 1 or 2.
For Vault Warrior preparation purposes.
Try and find some really fun, good AoE decks.
Everyone's disappointed with AoA, but when we were looking through the cards, this was before our podcast started, but when we were looking at single AoA cards, everything looked pretty good. I was looking at Untamed, and I was just like, man, Duskwitch is going to be crazy.
I mean, Duskwitch is crazy.
Yeah, but how many competitive decks, like AoA doesn't do well at Vault Tours to begin with, but how many of those top cut AoA decks have Duskwitches in them? Probably not too many.
So I'm just now, as an experiment, looking at My AOA decks.
Your highest rated AOA deck has 2 Duskwitch in it, Tyler.
It is a 73. That is
right,
out of 112 AOA decks, my highest rated is a 73.
You want to trade that? No, I'm just kidding.
And then it's 71, 70, and that's it. I have 3 70 or over.
Out of 100.
Out of 112 decks.
That feels problematic, just a little bit.
Yeah. Were you the one looking for a Gravid Cycle deck? Because my highest one is a Gravid Cycle deck.
No.
No, you're punctuated equal.
I want the double Duskwitch still.
But I mean, and the things that these decks need to even be there. I mean, don't get me wrong. 73 is a great score. This thing's got 12 speed. Mm-hmm. This thing looks like a pretty decent deck. I haven't even looked at it.
But when you look at it in comparison to like the Worlds Collides decks and the Coda decks that are in that 73, 75 range, like that looks underwhelming when you're looking at it side by side with a 75 Coda deck. And it's not because the Coda deck's better, it's just because the standalone cards are like more useful like as single cards. Like some of the AOA cards like Duskwitch. Duskwitch doesn't do crap by itself. Duskwitch literally has to survive till your next turn to even start being useful. And he has 1 health.
That's true.
So like granted, you're taking a risk by I'm gonna end my turn with the Duskwitch and hope it survives, but when it does, you get so much more value out of it. And I feel like that's a little bit of a decent summary of AOA because like Coda feels like the safe decks. Coda's your safe pick. I know what these do. Everything's very linear. There's not much thinking. AOA is like the high risk, high reward gambler decks. Like, AOA feels like Vegas, where you're just going to go and, like, I have these power cards, but I also have a bunch of crappy cards, so we're just going to play this deck and hope my power cards stick.
Come on, red.
Yep.
Land on red.
Exactly. Or you're like, Punctuated Equilibrium. Let's draw 4 more Untamed cards. Let's go. I need this. And then, like, Worlds Collide feels like it's neither of those things, but it's like, the powerhouse of like, the thought process. Like, we talked about that in an episode where Worlds Collide, I believe in both of our opinions, definitely mine, Worlds Collide is like the highest skill ceiling because it requires like by far the most thinking to make sure you play your cards in the right order, on the right side of the board, at the right times. And that, like, at the right time's always been a thing, but being able to play the right card first and the right card last is more prominent in Worlds Collide, and I feel like that vibes with my playstyle a lot, personally. But Tyler's still scrolling through trying to see what else he's got.
Just for numbers, people. So we had what? 3 decks out of 112 AOA that were 70 or over.
Mm-hmm.
I have 15 out of 56 for Worlds Collide.
That are 70 or over.
And then for Call of the Archon, I have 195 decks, and I have 1, 2, 3. Hold on.
At least 20.
Yeah, I'm at 21 so far.
30 plus.
It looks like 30 plus at 70 or over.
So again, repeating that all back, starting from the first set 1, Call of the Archons, Tyler has 150 something decks.
195 from Call of the Archons.
So 195 decks and 30 plus, probably almost 40 of them.
Yeah, it's looking.
So it's like we're gonna call it what, 20 to 25% of decks are 70 plus from set 1. And then set 2, it was 10 out of 100 and something, 10 out of 120, 3 out of 120. So you have a 25% chance of getting a deck 70 and up in set 1.
So I just counted quickly. Sorry, 45 out of 195.
Even
70
more.
Or up for
so
Call of the Archons.
That's exactly almost 25%.
3 out of 112 for AOA.
So yeah, set 1, your chances of getting a deck 70 SAS or higher. Set 1 is about 25%. Set 2 is about, it's less than 3% because you only have 3 decks and it's over 100 decks.
It's like 1.5%.
So you have between 1 and 3% chance of getting a deck over 70. And then in Worlds Collide, it's like, what did you say it was, 10?
I have 10 out of 56.
So that's still a 20% because if you double the 50.
So but I mean, these are small sample sizes, really. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like 300, almost 400 decks is a big amount of decks.
But when you're looking, you cannot try to scale 400 decks to 1.5 million decks. There's no way that math, that math's never going to be accurate.
But anecdotally, I have like a 25% chance of getting a Vault Tour worthy deck out of set 1 and 3
We're trying to scare you into not buying set 2, so they're like $20 on Amazon, and then
we're gonna buy all the Jenka decks.
Yeah.
And then Team Cutthroat Research will reign supreme.
But you didn't hear that from us.
We're gonna manipulate the market like Rudy from MTG Finance. Just set 2, get rid of it, offshoot it, give it away.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if he like gets like fake copies of cards and then rips them up on his videos just to like make the value of the real ones go up and stuff.
No,
like,
he's not. I don't think he's scummy
I don't think he's scummy, but like I wouldn't put it past somebody to try to do
somebody's
like
definitely
that.
tried to do
like there's a YouTube video of some guy raging on his entire binder and nothing in that binder's real, and then you're like, oh crap, there's like 6 left demonic tutors in the world. Shit, like.
No, I mean Rudy because I subscribe to him because I still follow Magic the Gathering Finance because I have a lot of reserve list cards. But the thing that he's infamous for, that people like dislike him for some reason,
have gripes, yeah.
He bought out a reserve list card, and the reserve list for Keyforge listeners is a list of cards that Wizards of the Coast, the people who own Magic the Gathering, have agreed to never reprint.
Yeah.
All the copies of these cards that exist that's all they'll ever be.
Yep, they're literally 100 years from now. They're basically saying that it can be the year 2150, and they literally will have not reprinted any of those cards on that list to date.
Yep. So he bought every copy of a card. I believe it was Bazaar of Baghdad, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't.
He bought every copy he could possibly get his hands on of that card, and because of that, the supply went way down. So no matter what the demand was, the price went way up, and then he either is still holding them, which means the price is very high, or he sold some back to recuperate the money he had spent.
And now
but I know that he personally doesn't sell any of his alpha, beta, or unlimited cards.
Yep.
He keeps all of those cards.
I've heard that too. Yeah, I mean, they're all those cards in alpha, beta, they're never gonna drop in price.
Not significantly.
Like they can only go up.
Yeah.
Like they'll fluctuate $5 downwards maybe, but like a $300 card from alpha is never gonna be less than $290, and it could be $1,000 one day.
Yeah.
So like I understand, like that's a good.
Well, when you're talking about first print run of alpha, they didn't have rare back then. It was called like common 1, common 2, common 3, stuff like that. But when you're talking about the rares from those sets, you're talking in the world, maybe 10,000 copies are left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
And if it's on that list of cards that's never getting reprinted, like that just. I hope they don't do something like that with Keyforge.
Well, I mean, they are technically.
Huh?
Call of the Archons, like once it's done, it's done.
Well, yeah, but set wise, but like Call of the Archons.
That doesn't mean their cards can't show up in new sets.
They could take Hunting Witch out of Call of the Archons and put it in another set.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is what we expect to happen, but it's going to be weird because when this game takes off even harder in like 5 or 10 years, and if it grows up to that Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic level tier, which I think it will, it's going to be weird to look back at set 1 and be like, man, this card literally never got reprinted after that set. Like, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 cards.
Oh, there's going to definitely be cards
that's like, wow, this never got reprinted from day 1.
I mean,
and it's going to be cool and interesting to look at, and maybe decks with that card in it might be more valuable because of that.
Perhaps the Niffles. Might not be reprinted.
That would be cool. Yeah, Niffle Queen was like cool in concept and then underwhelming in play.
But they're very. I think they're really cool.
Yeah, the synergy of them is really.
And
neat.
I think they're very Keyforge.
That's how I feel about the chain gangs in set 3. Like Subtle Chain Gang, I feel like it's not great, but it's neat, and like I've grown to really like that card and those cards and their synergy, and like I feel like that's something I would do in the same way as you with Niffle Ape and Niffle Queen. Like, even if that never becomes a broken combo, I still just really like it, and any deck that has it in it, I personally am going to be more interested in playing.
Yeah, for sure. Did you see I pulled a deck, there's a little side thought, but
we're winding down to the end of the episode.
I opened a set 1 display, and I pulled a triple Niffle Queen 4 or 5 Niffle Ape deck. Do you remember that one?
Yes. Oh my god.
And it doesn't look like it's a great deck, but I'm really excited to just have like 12 power Niffle Apes.
Yeah, just because you can. Just because that's one of the only decks that'll ever get 12 power Niffle Apes.
I mean, 12. What is the actual math? It's 2 for each one.
So 10
so
extra
6,
plus
9.
The 3 they have.
9 power.
Oh, okay. Oh, is it 1 each?
Well, it's 1 for each. +1 to Beast, +1 to Niffle. So each queen will give them +2.
And they're already 3s.
And they're already 3s. So they'll get +6 if you have all 3. You go to 9.
Queens, okay, yeah.
And the queens will also give +2 to other queens.
So they'll each hit each other for another.
Yeah, so they could become 10s each.
Wow. So you could have a board of 10 power queens and 9 power apes.
That's
and it's
pretty
like
cool.
half your untamed board. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And, against set 1 meta, that might sound dumb, but that might be really good against set 3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got a dinosaur with some amber on it, and I'm going to one-shot it. I ignore taunt.
Bye.
Bye.
It's pretty good. I do want to, I know we're getting to the end of the episode a little bit. I do want to give a shout-out to, I'm only going to say their first name, someone by the name of Will. They reached out to us on the Cutthroat Research Facebook page, and actually I coordinated a trade with them. They said that they listened to the episode, and they had a deck. I mentioned wanting a deck with double Psi Officer Morpheus, the thing that makes your play effects trigger twice. And somebody actually hit us up on Facebook and said, hey, I have a deck for you. It had 2 Infernus in it too. It's only like a 63 or something. It wasn't exemplary. But it was cool. It was like the first experience that I actually had with a viewer that wasn't at the Prime Championship. Someone who directly came to us for the podcast's sake and wanted to like do something. So if you guys have any decks that you're interested in personally trying to get, or if you have any decks, I'm still looking for more. I mean, I'll trade for double Morpheus or some cool Infernus decks. There are a few decks I really want to get. They're from 2 different sets, so it needs to be a Maverick. But if anyone has a deck with Dusk Witches and Shadow Selves in it, I'm super interested.
Yeah, I want those too.
Yeah. So if anyone has that, like, that would be cool. I know that's kind of like a weird moment to plug that in, but I wanted to shout out Will for making that trade. I did get the deck from him yesterday.
Big thanks to Will.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna play it probably next month because we have the 2 primes, so I'll play it for like the last 2 weeks of leaderboards because I don't expect to do anything with the leaderboards. So I'll probably just play some like low rated decks to have fun with next month, and I'll let you know how that goes and how that deck's working out. There's a Rot Grub in there too. I get to make my opponent lose 2 off Rot Grub.
That's pretty sweet.
That's neat.
Yeah, or in general, if you guys are looking for certain combinations,
yeah.
I mean, me and Ryan together have a pretty substantial amount of decks.
I mean, you have more than me, but between us, we still probably have 500 decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's not much, but if you're looking for certain combos that might be more middling, I'm going to be real with you. I don't really look through my decks that are less than, like, 65 to 100%. See, like, anything like that.
Yeah, I do keep track of them because, like, when I find a deck that's good for reversal, if it's like under 55, I'll put it aside, but I still don't even look at what's in the deck list. I'm just like, this is safe for later, don't trade this. And then it just exists in another deck box separate from everything
And if you're
else.
Also a busy adult with responsibilities, you know that sometimes later just
never gets
doesn't really come around.
Yep.
I have a lot of things that I'm like, I'm going to organize this later, and it just kind of gets left.
Well, that's the point of saying later. You don't say I'm doing this Saturday. You say I'm doing it later.
That's
so
right.
Anytime between 5 minutes
now
from now
until the day I die.
Yep.
It's still later.
As long as you still got it done.
So anyway, we got end of leaderboards today.
Primes
next week Prime. Week after that Primes.
And then
our locals are closed for a week.
Yep. And then our last week of January will be
our one leaderboard week for the people going to Primes.
Do you think anyone from Prime will squeeze in at 4th that week?
Oh, it'll be me.
You think you're gonna get 4th?
I don't know.
Just barely make your way in.
I mean, I hope.
There's no.
I hope that we get more people to come with us to Primes than last time, like all of our regulars.
Yeah. So there's.
But I also still hope that the tournament fires if there are people who want to play.
Yeah, I agree.
And I won't be upset if we have some of the newer, less experienced or less competitive players walk away with some cool decks.
Yeah, the leaderboard decks. And do we know what the leaderboard altar is for next month?
Unsuspecting Prey for month 3.
So Untamed's guaranteed in all of January leaderboard decks. That's pretty cool. You could get. I mean, my best deck has the triple Harmonia, double Taliga in it, and I love that thing. So I've grown to love Untamed. And in set 1, I was not a fan. Like, I understood why it was good and it was okay and Hunting Witch was cool, but, like, I just didn't... I like Logos more. I like Shadows more.
I love Keycharge.
And I've grown to love Untamed. There's so many cool cards. But we're rambling now. I feel like we're 45 minutes into this. We're probably said pretty much all we need to say for the day. I know you guys love hearing our voices, but...
Yeah, so, I mean...
If that's the case, you should just come hang out with us in person.
That's true. So, I mean... If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell.
If you're on
do all that YouTube stuff.
If you're on Podbean and you know that there's a way to like things, you should do that, but I don't think
you can follow on Podbean.
You can follow, but I don't know if there's like a favorite button or a like button or anything like that for the general like homepage of the podcast.
And this should also be shown up on Spotify now.
Yeah.
We're still working on iTunes.
Yeah, iTunes is still in progress. I haven't really made any more progress since the last announcement just because of all the busy holiday season stuff and working. But I will try to get that done. I'm gonna say that by the end of January, I want to have us on iTunes 100%.
Yeah.
That's
if you are going to any primes, the prime we're going to in Critical Hit Games in St. Petersburg area. If you're going to go there, say what's up to us. At bigger events, I'm going to try and be wearing like a hat that says that I'm from Cutthroat Research or something.
Yeah, you did get that hat.
I have a hat that like you could customize what it says.
Yeah, it's got like felt on it or like
Velcro. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But also, if I end up on stream, it's just going to be the link to our YouTube just right on the hat. So Boom. Free advertising.
Still waiting for that 100 subscriber mark.
But if anyone wants to like shoot us a message on Facebook or whatever, we do have some stickers we could probably send your way.
Yep. If you guys work out a trade with either of us, if we make a deck trade with you, there will be stickers in the deck we send you. Because I sent some to Will, and I'm going to keep that tradition going.
That's cool, yeah.
So if you work out a trade with us, you'll get some Cutthroat Research stickers. And as we come out with more product, maybe pins or dice or something else, once we have another item that we can give away, we'll try to throw those into some decks too.
Me personally, I just want to make cool swag.
Yeah.
Like stuff that's useful.
I just want people to be playing on the table with items that have our logo on it, so other people are like, "What is that?"
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
that's such a great way to spread the community and the podcast.
So keep your ear to the ground. We might do stuff like that, but we are going to try and be involved in the tournament circuit. We haven't had any big ones towards this fine state of Florida, but I know
that's because they announced the Miami tournament.
Our local tournament, the person who runs our Pokemon League is very close with the Krecklers, who are the people who own and operate Yeti Gaming.
Okay.
And he has been talking to them about our growing Keyforge community here.
Very cool.
So
that's awesome.
I know that they say they're in the works of getting some closer vault tours to this area.
Nice. That would be pretty cool.
Not to name drop, sorry.
Yeah,
but
you're good.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening. We will
guys.
see you in 2 weeks at least.
Yep, 2 weeks at most, but maybe sooner.
Have a good one, guys.
Find out.
Bye.
See you.